Hey, good morning or good afternoon, everyone. This is Kevin Lynch from Westminster Wealth Management. I am here today chatting with you about long-term care. You notice front and center there, I have a nomenclature called SOFA. SOFA is the Society for Financial Awareness. I've been a member of SOFA for a number of years, I think actually going on 11. And SOFA is a not-for-profit organization that we volunteer our time to educate the public on financial matters. So today's topic is long-term care. I hope you get a lot from this. And away we go. Let's begin. So before I do anything, since I am licensed, I have to let you know about First Heartland Capital. They are my broker-dealer. I have to tell you about them because I am, like I said, I am licensed, and that is who is my compliance house. And then secondly, apart from First Heartland, okay, and my company, Westminster Wealth Management, is SOFA. And just to be clear, SOFA does not offer to sell any financial products. In fact, I don't even mention any financial products or company names on these calls and in these training or education classes. This is strictly about educating the public. It's not a sales event. It never has been. I've been doing this a long time, so I just want to make sure you know that. So, common questions that I get, and by the way, this is not an exhaustive list, but it's a great way to start. Many folks don't even know what long-term care is, so I'm going to start there and educate people on that. Is it very expensive? We're going to talk about that. Can I use my existing life insurance policy or annuity policy for long-term care services? We will talk about that. The quick answer is yes, you can, depending on the type of policy you have. How does a long-term care policy help with protecting assets? We'll go through that. How do I get care if I'm not medically insurable? So in case you don't know it, long-term care is an insurance product, so you have to be underwritten medically to qualify for it, and you also must qualify financially to afford it. So there's two different underwritings that go on with long-term care. One is financially based, and the other one is medically based in the underwriting. And another question I get quite often is, doesn't Medicare cover long-term care? And I'll tell you, it does not. Just a quick answer. It will cover up to 100 days of skilled care, which is the direct supervision of a doctor. But once you go to what's called custodial care, and that's the activities of daily living, then long-term care policy would pick up at that juncture. And if you don't have long-term care, then you would be self-paying. So, okay. So what is long-term care? Well, it's custodial care assistance with the activities of daily living, and sometimes activities of daily living is abbreviated as ADLs. So don't get a head fake there, ADLs. And there are 6 of them. There are 6 ADLs, and I have them listed there: eating, dressing, bathing, continence, toileting, and transferring. The one I get the most questions on is transferring. What is that? Well, that's the ability to get out of your chair and to your walker unassisted, or out of bed to a walker or wheelchair unassisted. If you can't make that transfer, well, then you need help with that activity, and that would be the transferring piece. Or it's assistance with a cognitive issue, where you might be a danger to yourself or to someone else. We have had family members, myself, that had dementia, cognitive issues, and they qualified for a long-term care policy. Could do the 6 ADLs, no problem, but unfortunately, the dementia kind of set in, and that's where, in that case anyway, we needed the assistance. So that's what long-term care covers. So you're not gonna see any medical policy cover that. You're not gonna see any Medicare does not cover this. As I said, Medicare will cover the first 100 days of skilled care. But again, it's only 100 days, so it's not a long-term care policy. And the moment you don't need skilled care, and that could be, a couple of 3, 4, 5 days a week, then Medicare wouldn't pay either. So this is something that a lot of people run into as they age. Certainly, you're not looking at long-term care in your 20s and 30s, but certainly this is something that gets looked at much more seriously when people are getting on in life, 50s and early 60s, because, and many times, this is what happens, is that they have a care issue with their mom or dad, or a brother or sister as you age. And that's when reality sets in and says, wow, I wish we had a policy, because the policy's premium is a lot less expensive than what the care is itself. So that's what happens and how people come into a long-term care issue. So I figured I'd go over what the components were of a long-term care policy, because it could help you figure out kind of how they're built. So firstly, there's the premium, and that you have a lot of flexibility in how to pay the premium. You could pay it monthly, quarterly, biannually, annually. You can pay it as one lump sum, which has gotten very popular. You could pay it over 10 or 15 pays, and then you're finished. Or you could be a lifetime payer of a policy. So there's a lot of flexibility on how to pay for the policy. It offers a monthly benefit. So you pay the premium, and then you get a monthly benefit in exchange. Now that benefit could be, anything you choose it to be. Obviously, a $7,000 a month benefit is going to be more costly from a premium standpoint than if you requested a $4,500 premium payment. And that's how they're built. You can ask for, basically a coverage level per month. And the larger you ask for, the more you're going to pay for the policy. Normally, unless there's a cash benefit, and some policies offer a cash benefit as part of the monthly benefit. And that cash benefit can be used to modify a bathroom with grab bars, or make the doorways larger to accommodate a wheelchair. Or you could use the cash benefit for a ramp if you need one outside the home in order to access the home, because now you're in a wheelchair and you can't negotiate the steps. So the cash benefit can be quite valuable. Continuing on, there's a pool of money. So just doing the math. So if you have a 3-year, let's just take an example, because I think examples go a long way to explaining kind of how it works. So let's just say that you have a 3-year policy, so 36 months. And let's say you're asking for $7,000 a month of benefit. So that's basically going to be, real quick, it's about $252,000 then, as a pool of benefit. And that is your long-term care policy. So if you have a pool of $252,000 and you use $7,000 per month, as I just did the math, well, then that policy would last 36 months. However, if the need is not $7,000 a month, but it's $3,500 a month, maybe you have some family members that can help and they're not taking a payment for it. Well, then your 36-month policy is going to last 72 months. So it goes by the pool of money that you have. That's how the policy gets built. Some asset-based long-term care policies offer lifetime benefits. So there are policies out there where I just indicated a 36-month example. Incidentally, if you plow through the 36 months and you spend $7,000 a month, well then in that case, and if that's the type of policy you have, your long-term care funding would end. And in that 37th month, you'd be using monies from your own assets. There are also policies out there that provide a lifetime benefit. And some of them are a lump sum. You put a lump sum of money in and you leverage that over 2 lives. Some of them, if you ask for it, come with an inflation protection. Obviously, if you ask for inflation protection, it's going to be a more expensive policy. So the more widgets you put into the policy, the more expensive the policy becomes. One thing about the policy, and let's just use the example of $7,000. Let's just say that you needed a lot of, you needed a physical therapist, you needed a nurse's aide, you needed a occupational therapist, all in 1 month. And let's just say that the $7,000 exceeded their costs, and it was an $8,000 month of cost. Well, what happens there is that $7,000 would be covered by the policy, and you can't advance the $1,000 out of the policy. So because the max coverage per month is $7,000, that extra $1,000, that would have to come out of your savings. Conversely, if the policy was $7,000 max per month, and you only spent $5,000, well, the $2,000 then remains in the pool and can be used in subsequent months. So in that case, your policy would last at least into the 37th month if it's a 36-month or a 3-year policy. But that's how that pool of money works. So you always want to look at the pool. And again, some of those pools, you can have an inflation protection on it that grows 3% compounded. So the pool would go up by 3% per year. And I normally add an inflation protection because I've not seen the healthcare costs with regard to long-term care ever go down. They always get more expensive. So you do want to have an inflation protection component to the policy. I believe that's my personal belief. I believe you do want to have that. I've been doing this for 15 years, and I have seen the benefits of the cost of living adjustment that occurs, the inflation protector, in other words. I've seen the benefit of how that can help out.